What's up, RAD Potential YouTube? Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Since we are up here at the parents' house, figured I would give you a little walk around in my mom's 1957 Chevy Bel Air. So, this is a true Bel Air car. It's a factory 283 Power Glide car as well. So, 283. What have we done to this thing? So, rebuilt the motor. It's bored 60 over. We've got Champion radiator, vintage air AC unit on here, 2 big pusher fans. Converted it to a 1-wire GM alternator instead of the generator that it had before. Unfortunately, this isn't a power steering car. So, no power steering, no power brakes, which is just a little bit unfortunate because it's a little heavy. But otherwise, not too bad. Now, the big thing that we did. Floor shift. But wait, the most important part about the floor shift. How many gears do you see? Because I see 6. So, we did put a Tremec T56 Magnum in this car and switched it to a 390 rear gear. And the main reason for that is because now you can actually cruise it on the highway, which is awesome. Because before with the 283, it had a 273 rear gear in it, and it was not impossible to drive on the interstate. It would just run out of gear. It wasn't fast enough with that 2-speed. So, I guess you might wonder, what do we do with the car? As you can see, sitting here on some wide whites. It is still stock brakes, stock style rear end with drums, the 8 3/4. We got true dual exhaust on it, but basically it's just a driver car. So you'll see, looking down the side, not perfectly straight. We got some dings here, some scuffs up there. Got some stuff wrong with it. Little scratches around the license plate and stuff. Things going on. And cruising around town. It's just a fun driving car. Alright, so to continue, if you know, follow along on the channel, my dog was barking, and luckily the cat was outside. So we caught the cat, put her back in. Anyways, so basically it's just a street cruiser, like your normal little hot rod. My mom and dad cruise around, take it out on dates, and do the whole 1-2 on it. So the story for the 57 for my mom is that her and her dad had acquired one out of a barn when she was younger, and they put it all back together, and she polished the chrome and put the engine in and all that stuff with her dad. And then they ended up having to sell the car, and she never got to drive it. So we kind of surprised her with this for Christmas about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was good. So we did buy it already pretty much restored. The interior is as is, the paint is as is. All we did, like I said, rebuilt the motor, put the wide whites on, exhaust, the T56. So basically made it something you can actually drive. But it is still carbureted. I think that's one thing I'd like to change in the future. Maybe get some like a throttle body fuel injection on it. It just is, up here in the north, it's a little hard to start in the winter, and with it not getting driven a ton, that also makes it like just a tough car to own. But looking pretty sweet. So one thing with the hard top, if you don't know, you can roll down both of these windows, and like that side there's no post, so which is pretty neat. I really don't know how many miles are on this car. I don't really care. It drives nice. We put a new cluster in when the new engine was in, so this only shows engine miles, but that's fine. Transmission got put in before the engine got rebuilt. And one thing else that's interesting is, so when we first put the transmission in, we left the rear gear set from the Power Glide, which is that 273 gear. So really tall gear, which is actually right here. And over Thanksgiving last year, I was doing a burnout, 1 tire fire, with 5 people, got to wheel hopping, and we destroyed this carrier. So you can see, broke the casting there, busted up some spider gears. So we replaced it with a 390, just a bolt-in guy. So it drives a lot better. But we're going to take it for a little cruise. So let's go. What's up, guys? So driving around in the 57, we got Calvin over here, Mr. DuPont, paint man himself. Yeah. After some sanding on some fenders last night for the rotary truck, so cruising around the Bel Air. Figured we'd give you a little bit of a tour, driving it around. So basically, it's a little tough to get this whole thing warmed up sometimes. She likes to be a little sputtery, as you can hear. But once she's warmed up, she's usually pretty good. Drives pretty nice. Also, we've got to fix, if you notice that window over there,
slightly broken.
Something in the crank's jacked up because it doesn't crank up and down level.
Yeah.
And then because of that, the door got closed with the window out of the track and it cracked the corner of the glass. So, which is pretty unfortunate. But luckily, you can build these cars out of a magazine, so we'll get a new window crank, we'll find some new glass for it, put it back together. So the thing drives pretty good. Don't chirp. It is a nice, warm day in December. We got our sleeves rolled up. Might turn the AC on down here. Works pretty good. Too bad there's not a temperature setting on YouTube. You guys can see how cold it is here. So, just nice cruising. You notice we still have the automatic stuff in the bottom there from whenever it was a glide car before this. Generally, everything works on the dash. The temp gauge is a little messed up, but you notice down here, we've got small town, had to wait for somebody. You notice down here, we've got oil pressure and temp mounted below the dash. That way we can keep this motor healthy, and we know that she's healthy, so we don't blow it up or break it. Because we really run this thing pretty hard.
Oh yeah, it's a burnout machine.
Yeah. So Calvin was there in this exact seat the night we broke the rear end. We were out on the north side of town, did a nice fat one tire fire, and we had a good sitter going. And then I tried to drive out of it, which was a mistake. I got about 10 foot out of it, it wheel hopped, went ka-ching, and then we were just rolling.
Destroyed.
Because it was broke, as you saw the rear end a little bit ago. So, as far as exhaust and stuff, I don't exactly know how well you'll be able to hear it, but just two Flowmaster 40 series, true duals all the way out. No cats, no nothing. We like to smell it. And it's plenty for what mom and dad like it for. It's enough to be known, but not enough to break your ears. They just ran a red light.
They did. Yes, indeed.
Little spin. Nope. That's about all she's got. Chirp second.
Yeah.
One tire chirp second.
Chirp third too. No tag.
So haven't quite figured out the factory heat yet. It doesn't entirely work the best, but I think that that's mostly because with that big 4-row dual pass radiator that's in it, the engine doesn't really run that hot in the cold. It'll only run, like right now we're sitting at about 170 on the temp gauge, which really isn't enough to get your heat working. So
You want to race the Mustang?
we should.
Alright folks, we'll take a poll. Comment in the comment section. Who do you think would win? That Mustang there?
V6 Mustang or this?
I think we got him. Ooh, we could get the shovel out and do some big smoky burnouts.
Yeah. So Calvin's the big muscle car guy, not so much the rotary guy. He's got a 66 Chevelle, or three. And he's got one that's a nice big party one-tire fire car.
Oh yeah.
So much so that the one-tire fire wheel doesn't match the rest of the wheels.
Yeah, you don't want to tear up your good tires.
No.
You gotta have a designated burnout wheel.
Yeah.
It'd be real easy today too because it has rained a little bit, so then it helped it start.
All right, y'all. So that's the 57 Chevy. Thanks, Calvin, for coming around for a cruise. We're gonna go work on some rotary parts because that's what we do. Keep it rad.